Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, brothers, sisters, friends, enemies, and frenemies. This is Brother Rob Wilson, and this is probably going to be one of my more serious videos. No sound effects, no laughter, and this is just to make people aware of the depths of depravity and the depths of the possible horrendous and possibly life-taking circumstances of false teachers, the possible deadly consequences of the modern day deliverance frauds. This is how bad it can get. It can be fatal. So, ran across this story, and I've been running across multiple stories just like this. This is going to be hard to watch. I have literally wept over this story. Investigation says 3-year-old girl died inside of a church after exorcism like ritual. This happened in 2021, but once I started investigating this, I found that it's the tip of the iceberg. Let's check it out.
Exclusive details in the death of that 3-year-old girl. Police say she was a victim of child abuse, specifically that exorcism-like ritual.
Church members, which included the little girl's own mother, tried to ward off, quote, evil spirits. That chilling video posted online appears to show the mother talking about the child after her death. NBC Bay's Ian Cole has a story you'll see only on NBC Bay Area.
Multiple sources confirmed the woman speaking in this video posted to YouTube is the mother of a 3-year-old girl who died inside of a backroom San Jose church. Investigators say it happened from an exorcism-like ritual done by the girl's family back in September. The video is weeks later.
I could sit here and be negative about the thing like, oh, like I wish I could go back and this and this and that. But it's like, there is no point of me doing that, because I cannot change what is, it is what it is.
The victim's mother, Claudia Hernandez, was arrested in
Her 3-year-old baby girl's life was taken during a deliverance exorcism ceremony. And this is a sheer lack of empathy, responsibility, accountability. This is horrific. And this is the result of false teaching. This is the result of false deliverance frauds. This was a 3-year-old girl.
But it's like, there is no point of me doing that, because I cannot change what is, it is what it is.
The victim's mother, Claudia Hernandez, was arrested in January on felony child abuse charges just a few days after the video was posted. According to court documents we obtained, Hernandez brought her to the church last September believing she was possessed by a demon because she would sometimes...
Hear that? And listen to the reason why she thinks she's possessed by a demon.
Hernandez brought her to the church last September believing she was possessed by a demon because she would sometimes wake up at night screaming or crying. According to the family statement to police,
What else would a 3-year-old girl or boy or even an adult do if they're surrounded by a lot of talk about devils, demons, demonology, casting out demons, doing rituals and spells? What it would terrify you. This modern deliverance fraud is not of God. It casts more evil spirits, fear, anxiety, and turmoil. This does not feed God's sheep. And you see the date there was 9/24/21.
3 family members held the girl down for 7 hours. Investigators say no one called 911 until at least 2 hours after the child died. The medical examiner's office concluded the cause of death was asphyxia due to suffocation. The little girl's death just recently ruled a homicide.
When she passed away, she was with me. Of course, I'm her mom. Why would she not be with me?
In her 43-minute video, Hernandez talks multiple times about her little girl without specifically talking about how she died.
A lot of people turned on me because after my daughter passed away. A lot of people thought like a lot of things because after my daughter passed away because of how the situation looked. But like I said, if you weren't there, if you don't know what happened, then...
The church where she died is the same one that was searched 2 weeks ago after 3-month-old baby Brandon was kidnapped from a home. The suspect in that case is a church member.
It is exceedingly rare in the United States to hear about these kinds of stories.
Christopher Mormon is the chair of philosophy and religious studies at Cal.
He said it's extremely rare to hear about these stories. It's extremely rare to hear about these stories. This is when we hear about these stories. This is when we hear about the damage done by deliverance fraud, when it's fatal. But what we do not hear is the damage it does to people's mental health, to people's emotional health, to people's family well-being. We don't hear the number of divorces that are caused when people lose their minds to this false apostolic reformation, this false prophetic performance, these deliverance frauds. We don't hear about the families it wrecks. We don't hear about the relationships it destroys.
To hear about these kinds of stories.
Christopher Moorman is the chair of philosophy and religious studies at Cal State East Bay. He says stories like these exorcism-type rituals gone wrong emerge from time to time, typically in fringe churches.
All the religions you can think of do practice exorcisms, and the more established the tradition is, the more likely they are to have training that teaches the priest to recognize symptoms of psychological and emotional distress that would avoid this exact kind of situation is what happened.
The girl's mother, Claudia Hernandez, is being held in jail without bail. She denied our request for an interview. So far, no one else at the church has been arrested.
Okay, the fringe is becoming mainstream, y'all. Let me bring up another clip. Okay, this one here is talking about, what is this talking about? Two suspects in girl's apparent exorcism death, church back in court. So let me play this short clip here by Jessica Alguire. Again, fair use for doing a critique on the modern deliverance fraud.
The grandfather and the uncle of a little girl they're accused of killing while allegedly trying to rid her of an evil spirit were back in a San Jose court today. The two men and the child's mother accused of spending more than 7 hours choking and smothering the little girl inside a church. NBC Bay Area's Stephanie Magallon was in court today as the suspect and their families arrived in the courtroom.
Father and son, both named Renee Hernandez, sat inches away from each other in a courtroom today as they were formally charged in the death of 3-year-old Arely Doe. Court documents claim the two men and the child's mother believe the 3-year-old was possessed. Defense attorneys were going to ask for a bail, but delayed.
Believed a 3-year-old was possessed because they woke up from frightening dreams. Thank God. Thank God. Who didn't have scary dreams, or who didn't wake up in the middle of the night as a child and, thank God, have parents that didn't think it was demons? I know I did, especially when I watched something that was scary or read a comic book that happened to have some scary theme to it. And this is not far from what some of the mainstream deliverance frauds say. If you wake up in the middle of the night, if you have a scary dream, it's a demon.
That request, saying they needed more time to review evidence.
So on June 13th, we're going to ask to add the Renee Hernandez and Renee Hernandez Santos case with the Claudia Hernandez case.
Claudia Hernandez has been in jail for months, while her father and brother were only arrested last week. According to police reports, she believed her daughter was possessed by a demon because she'd wake up in the middle of the night screaming and crying. Police say for at least 7 hours, the three smothered and strangled the child in an attempt to rid her body of what
I'm literally holding back tears right now, y'all. And this is hard. This is hard for me. This is so heartbreaking. But this is how bad and how extreme the results and consequences of false teachers and deliverance fraud can be.
They told officers was an evil spirit. All of this happening inside a makeshift church at a San Jose home. Today, some asked why police waited so long to arrest the grandfather and uncle, who are both described as pastors for that church.
The thing that allowed us to arrest Renee Hernandez and Renee Hernandez Santos.
Pastors don't kill people. The entire law can be summed up in this one commandment: love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no harm to its neighbor, and it certainly doesn't kill its granddaughter. Nothing of this, nothing of these who haven't had these consequences yet is of God.
was the release of the medical examiner's report to our office.
In a statement, the attorney representing Aureli's grandfather urged everyone to reserve judgment until the full facts are known. The child's great-grandmother and her grandfather's sister also showed up to watch today's hearing. Neither wanted to speak with us on camera.
We don't have any new information now, but the investigation is ongoing. And as new information comes to light, we are giving it to the defense attorneys as well as conducting ongoing investigation in this case.
Legal analysts say it's not likely a judge will grant any of the three suspects a bail because of the magnitude of their charges and the security risk that may present. All three could face life in prison if convicted on all charges. In San Jose, Stephanie Magallon.
Okay. Let's go to, I still have not been able to find the final conviction ruling in this case. That was the reporting at that hand. But let's look at some of the consequences once these individuals went to prison. Look, y'all, you can go into prison for doing some things, and even the inmates don't regard you with any kind of respect. Even inmates hate this. Inmates attack San Jose pastor accused of killing girl with church exorcism. This, I don't see a date on this. No, I do. March 26, 2024. Whoa, wait a minute. Updated March 26, 2024. Okay, so yeah, all right. So this is recent. A San Jose pastor accused of killing. I guess they don't have a result yet. I guess they don't have even a final hearing in this yet. A San Jose pastor accused of killing his 3-year-old granddaughter during a church exorcism has been repeatedly attacked by fellow inmates in jail. I'm not trying to laugh about this, but I'm telling you, according to recently filed court documents, Rene Trigueros Hernandez was a pastor at a Pentecostal church, Iglesia Apostolos y Profetas, and I think that means apostolic and prophetic, until he was arrested by San Jose Police Department officers. His granddaughter, Arely Naomi Proctor, God bless her soul, died in the church on September 24th, 2021. Prosecutors said the girl was tortured by family members for hours on the altar as they attempted to cast a demon out of her. The girl's family members told police that they squeezed Arely, trying to expel the demon, until they realized that hold on a second, y'all. All right. Sorry. This is hard for me to read. My heart is so broken over this. The girl's family members told police that they squeezed Arely, trying to expel a demon, until they realized that she was dead. According to investigators, Hernandez, 60, might not survive long enough in jail to make it to a trial if the inmates' attacks continue, his defense attorney said. The case garnered media headlines this month while Hernandez and his co-defendants were in court for a preliminary hearing. The pastor's defense attorney filed new court documents stating Hernandez has been repeatedly attacked by fellow inmates. Yeah, that's not up on the cred list in prison, that you kill or abuse or essay a child. The inmates who targeted Hernandez found out about the church death through news reports, court documents state. The 60-year-old pastor has been in custody for more than a year without bail. During his time in custody, he has been assaulted more than once. Each assault came close on the heels of a court appearance, which was covered in the local paper or broadcast. Defense attorney Dana Fight wrote, to be blunt, Mr. Hernandez will not be able to enjoy his right to a fair trial if he does not survive pretrial custody. His life is definitely in danger. Arely, I think that's how you say it, mother, Claudia Hernandez, uncle Rene Aaron Hernandez Santos, and grandfather are charged with felony assault on a child younger than 8, causing death. Fight did not ask the judge to bar news reporters. No, Fight did not ask the judge to bar news reporters from the courtroom entirely. The defense attorney requested that the judge bar the media from publishing or airing up-to-date in-court images and videos that make it easier for hostile inmates, in jail to identify and attack him, Fight wrote. Mr. Hernandez asked the court to order media personnel not to capture or broadcast this image. A KRON4 news reporter was allowed into the courtroom Monday on the final day of preliminary hearing. There were no cameras present. On Monday, a coroner testified that 3-year-old Arely had so many injuries, including blunt force trauma on her face and internal abdominal injuries, that it was impossible to know which injury was the final blow. Wow, this is insane. The coroner said she determined Arely's cause of death was a combination of mechanical asphyxia and smothering. Investigators said they unsure which family members in the church the mother, the uncle, or the grandfather was responsible for Arely's lethal injury. All three told police that they participated in the deadly exorcism. According to the testimony of police reports, the victim's mother and uncle have not had an easy time in jail either. Claudia Hernandez was threatened by inmates, and Aaron was assaulted, according to fight. Inmate records show the grandfather is locked up in Santa Clara County Main Jail North on Heading Street next to the Hall of Justice courthouse. Defense attorneys and prosecutors rested their case for the preliminary hearing on Monday. Judge Hanley Chu said he needs to view hours of videos from the San Jose Police Department officers, body cameras, and tape police interrogations before he makes a ruling. Judge Chu's ruling will determine if the district attorney's office has enough evidence for the case to move forward to trial. I think that's the end of the article. Look, y'all, that was extremely difficult to go through. And trust and believe, I'm actually going to give numerous more videos, because you know how the algorithm works. When I started searching this out, and I initially saw this story reported on the Truth Cartel by Mahler, and I think at the time David A. for Living for Christ was on there. Look, beloved, if you want to, like, subscribe, and share if you care. And if you don't understand why so many people are warning people about false teachers in general, the consequences can be fatal on earth. But in fact, if you're not believing the gospel, if you haven't even had the gospel shared with you, as one of the deliverance frauds, mainstream deliverance fraud has purported, that half the people who come for the deliverance conferences aren't born again. It can not only have a tragic earthly fatal consequence, it can have a tragic eternal consequence, because people who think they're legitimately saved have never even believed in the gospel. And this 3-year-old girl was not even old enough to tell her left hand from her right hand, and these charlatans took her life. Again, I haven't found final convictions or on any of these individuals yet, and it sounded like the case was still pending, but this is how serious that this problem can be. Potentially fatal consequences of false teaching and false deliverance frauds. You can never underestimate the damage that Satan can do through a false teacher, who the Word of God says, it is no wonder that Satan appears as an angel of light. It is no wonder that his servants appear as ministers of righteousness, but the end thereof is death. Grace, peace, and love in Jesus' name. Amen.